So there's a very special person that's missing tonight, and his name is Jack McCarthy. And he was a huge influence on the poetry slam scene, and he was a legend here, a national treasure. So I'm going to ask those that have been touched by Jack McCarthy's poetry to please stand up. And this one person across the country has touched so many more lives. He's influenced me, was my mentor and my dearest, dearest friend. And we're gonna do a mashup of all his greatest poems, little nuggets from his pieces. And
thank you for standing.
And we're gonna do this for Jack. Is there something else you want to say?
That's
Okay, I wasn't gonna say anything, I thought I would cry. We're like an island of shipwrecked survivors. Every night we gather around the fire and tell our stories.
And the more we tell our stories,
The clearer it becomes.
it isn't many stories we're telling,
It's
the
the
story.
Our pain is the dynamic compelling us together, and that's how God wants things to work.
It hurts when love dies. When love is deep,
It hurts deeply.
more deeply maybe than you thought anything would ever hurt again.
But with time, the spaces between the moments when it hurts get longer. The moments themselves become less devastating, till eventually you come to associate them with a sad sweetness
That has as much in common with love
as it does with grief.
Today, I often cry when things turn out well, an unexpected act of simple human decency
new evidence.
against all odds of how much someone loves me.
There, everything's going to be all right.
And for that moment, you really believe that you can make enough of it right.
Enough.
The unskilled labor of love.
And that crying is not to be ashamed of.
But for years, my great fear was the moment I might have to deal with a crying son. And when Joan went into labor, they said the baby would be born dead, but he wasn't. Very briefly, before he died, I heard him cry.
The Iraqis, after the hell they've been through, still at their weddings fire assault weapons at the sky to celebrate something. Every child we bring into the world is just that kind of celebration, not of hope of inner vulnerability or immunity, perfection, no. Every child is a celebration of hope itself.
An
assault
assault on heaven.
Is my victory as simple as that?
I'm surrounded by people who love me.
True, some of them a little crazy,
But who else would love me? There's no rage in me.
Not anymore.
The years have been too kind. Allow the light the right to die.
This is like waking up from an unremembered afternoon dream of a race.
Who won?
It's irrelevant.
The stands are emptying out, and I'm loping along alone on the track.
Cooling down, breathing easily now, taking my own sweet time.
This feels like my victory lap.
We live in a golden age of the opinion.
No knowledge.
No education.
No qualification.
Just give us your opinion, like the judge at a poetry slam.
I've always been in favor of blurring all the dividing lines. The word poetry is the only one big enough to include everything. Soon, the only thing left will be poetry.
And maybe that's the way it's supposed to be.
Till suddenly you stumble on the substance of your destiny and understand at last that all the pain you ever gave the slip was the pain of not doing this.
All those years, all those retching mornings.
All those dead-end jobs, the best you could say for them was marginally more interesting than daytime TV.
And you know what the worst thing was? Nobody ever really believed how hard we tried. What keeps you going?
What keeps you from blowing your brains out?
Only the hope that maybe things will get better.
We come to people who have been there.
We come to each other and we try. Mark Doughty said,
I don't know what my feelings are until I find the words for them. Today, I found the words to tell that story, and I unlocked some feelings I never knew I had.
You don't always get the chance that night to tell someone how much you really like their stuff.
When you see them 3 weeks later, you can't remember what it was you liked, and it defeats the purpose to say,
You there! I really admired that unmemorable poem you did a few weeks ago, whatever your name is.
Audiences do not award points for degrees of difficulty.
What we do is not a diving competition. It's a competition for the hearts and minds of live audiences. And the key to their hearts and minds is their attention.
Without listening, I hear the soft dampening of all sound that is itself a sound, and every snowflake was a promise of peace to come. It has come slowly.
Peace comes slowly,
But every promise has been kept.
We watch others go through life, leaving bodies strewn behind, and wonder vaguely what our own trail looks like. Bless those brave enough actually to walk the backward track.
They walk it for us all. Some depart.
Others will come.
I acknowledge the pattern
here.
here.
More the beauty of it,
The pacing,
the stateliness.
the timing,
Most of us see the world as
Spiderweb.
spiderweb, all sorts of intricate connections,
alternate routes,
good sense of direction,
and a roadmap, and we'll
always find our way. Every time we love, we're saying, let it ride. We forgive you for getting old.
We forgive you that your body has begun to resist the demands you make on it in our behalf. The time has come to rest upon your laurels.
The canvas is painted now. There's no room for one more brushstroke. Let it ride.
Time to sit back.
And gaze upon what you have made.
And what's on the table
Is
is the
the
rent
rent
money.
money.
And every time we stride again out into the crisp desert night,
Our fists shoved deep into empty pockets, we know ourselves for losers. But
Jesus,
what brave losers we are. What brave losers we are. Thank you.